What's the best behavior management strategy? Prevent behaviors before they even start. Let's talk about 4 classroom routines that stop behaviors in their tracks. Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Rachel from the Behavior Check-In, and I'm a K-12 behavior specialist, and I specialize in helping teachers in real classrooms with strategies that work. Number 1, morning entry. You want to start your morning routine off strong. It sets the tone for the day. So you want to greet your students at the door. You want them to enter a classroom environment where they know what to expect and they're ready to learn. It's calm and it's inviting. I love soft starts to the morning if you're in elementary school. I think this is really helpful because we never know what students' mornings and transitions look like. They may have had to rush to get out the door. It may have been really crazy. They may have had an awful bus ride in. Maybe some kid was being nasty to them. Maybe they got yelled at. You get the picture. They may have had a chaotic morning, just like you and I have chaotic mornings, and they need a minute to catch their breath. This is beneficial for you and for them to have a soft start. If you teach secondary, I like to have a fun bell ringer that's often like a soft start as well, so they can sit down, maybe write, reflect, do something that's not super challenging, but does activate their brain and get them set for the class. I love having these routines in place because it allows the kids to have a moment to breathe and get started for the day. I also like to include in my morning routines a morning meeting where we do a little social emotional lesson, we do some mindfulness, we get set for a day and put it off to a good start. Always end it with an affirmation, and you can do this with secondary students as well. It benefits both elementary and secondary, but I love a good, strong morning routine, and I really do think it helps kids transition into the school day and get them set. You can review the expectations for the day, you can review the schedule for the day so they know what to expect, they know what's ahead of them, and it just helps ease the whole transition in for school to get you set up for success. Have predictable transitions, have routines for transitions. I talked about reviewing the schedule at the beginning of the day in the morning. If you have any changes in your routine, make sure you review that. Make sure you practice that. If you have a fire drill, an earthquake drill, an intruder drill, make sure they're prepped for that. If there's changes in the lunch menu for the day, make sure you prep for that. If there's changes in recess, prep for that. All of those things are really beneficial for our students and will eliminate behaviors because they will know what to expect. Nothing will catch them off guard or surprise them, and that will put them at ease for the day. And I have found that to be really helpful. When you are having routines in the classroom at the beginning of the school year, make sure that you're teaching those routines explicitly to the students. Have them practice them, have them model them. Have a routine for sharpening a pencil, have a routine for going to the bathroom, have a routine for getting your workbooks, and so on and so forth. All of this is really beneficial in helping students be successful. I also think it's really important to teach students a routine and what to do if they are frustrated, if they need a moment, if they need a break in the classroom. Doing a lot of this ahead of time can be really beneficial because you're not having to scramble in the moment and the kids know what to expect. If you have a calm corner or a calm station in your room, make sure you're teaching the students how to use that. You can watch one of my other videos, I will link it up here, and that'll show you how to use the calm corner. It's just very important to practice these transitions and practice them frequently, practice them after long breaks so that the kids know what to expect. You get a new student, you can review it whole class with them. I once again love to review these things in the beginning of class during morning meeting, and give the responsibility to the kids. Have some of the kids teach the routines, be your classroom helpers, and have them help you review those routines to make sure that everybody understands the expectation. Also, make sure that when you teach these routines, you're setting the boundaries for the students and you're making sure that those boundaries are consistent and clear. There are going to be moments where students don't make the best choices, and we do have consequences. Whatever you have in place in your classroom, you need to make sure you're following through on that. You need to make sure that those expectations are clear. If you do this, this is what will happen. I love to use contingency maps in my special education classrooms and with younger kids, where pretty much you start off with you're feeling frustrated, you can choose to take a break, you can get regulated, come back to class, and you will have a good day. Or, you'll get your points or whatever. And then you can also talk about, well, if you choose not to and you get upset and you do this, well, here's the potential consequence that can come from that. Having that spelled out can be very beneficial so that kids clearly understand how it works, so that your older students clearly understand how the discipline ladder works. You do this and this and this. The first step's going to be a conversation. The second's probably going to be a message to your parent, then a call home. If this continues, you may have to go visit admin. Make sure that that's clear and that they understand that, so that nothing is a surprise when it happens. I also like to let kids know, even my older kids, this is your reminder 1. This is your reminder 2, so that we're very clear. So you're letting them know, they know exactly what to expect. That's the big thing that I want you to remember. Avoiding power struggles when they happen in the classroom. This is not really necessarily a routine, but it's something you need to be mindful of. And when I say kind of a routine, this might be for a routine for you as a teacher. I was explaining to a colleague this week, in fact, that when you have certain behaviors that are going to crop up in the classroom, make sure that you have a plan in place for what you are personally going to do, that you have things set and you're ready, so you don't have to think about it in the moment. So we were talking particularly about a student who was doing task refusal, and I had mentioned that this is how I would speak to the child. I would come over and I would validate, I'd notice what was going on. You look really frustrated. Can I help you right now? And then they may say, I don't want to do this. This is stupid. Then you can respond with, okay, I understand your frustration. I am here to help you. And they're like, I don't want your help, go away. You can respond with something like, it's okay, I understand. And then you can, because you're validating the feeling, then you can set the expectation. So your choices are, I will leave you here for a few minutes. You can do this on your own. Or I'll check back in 5 and you can do this with me, but you've set the boundary, it's going to get done, right? And when you check back in with them too, you can let them know, if we don't do this now, we're going to have to do this later. You can't completely escape what you have. Like, you can do this assignment now with me, with my help, or you can do this during choice time when all your friends are playing. And you can set that boundary, but you're also, like I said, you're validating their feelings, their frustration, you're giving them those choices, those options, you're setting that boundary, and then you're walking away. We're not going to get in heavy power struggles with kids, but it's important to have these strategies in your back pocket and know what you're going to say and do before the behavior comes up. Because if we don't have a plan, then we're stuck in a situation where we don't know what to do and we're frozen, and then that is when the kids can kind of get in and really like tap on our nerves and our buttons and get us dysregulated. And before we know it, we're either giving in to something or we're getting escalated ourselves. So this is a routine more for you as a teacher. Plan in place beforehand. And if you need different strategies, I have a whole bunch of strategies on my channel that you can go back and watch on ways that you can handle these power struggles and these behaviors. But that's just a quick example of things that you can do when you have a student who's doing that. But I like to have those power scripts, those power statements that I can practice and have ahead of time for when those behaviors come up, because they're going to. So we have our morning routine, we have our transition routine, and we have our routine for bathrooms, breaks, all of that stuff, all of those in place. The final routine you need to have is for end of the day dismissal. This can be the craziest time. And often for me, I feel like it's nuts, because then you have kids who are checking out early and kids go in here and then they're making announcements and papers are everywhere, and you know how it can get. It can get really chaotic. And so I think it's really helpful to have end of the day routines. Use your students to help you. Have classroom helpers and classroom jobs, and have someone who helps you, set up your calendar for the next day or the routine schedule for the next day. Have a student who makes sure all the chairs are on the desk and make sure all the papers and things are up off the floor. I always like to have a floor sweeper who'd make sure that everything was off the floor. Make sure that every student has a job, has something to do. Give yourself plenty of time to pack up. I like to use timers. I like to have visuals on the wall. I like to make it very clear what we're going to do. Everybody does their different jobs. We pack up. We have our room looking nice. Remember, it's not the bell dismisses you, it's I dismiss you, and we have everything looking the way that it needs to look. We're lined up at the door and we are ready to dismiss. Having these routines in place will really help with the end of the day of chaos and help you feel less stressed after the students leave, because you don't have to come back to a room that's been completely destroyed and looks like a tornado hit it. You have things set and ready to go, and this will help you be more regulated and set for the next day. That way you can focus on the important things and getting your materials out and prepped, not necessarily cleaning your room or getting the chairs up or dealing with the chaos that comes at the end of the day. Making sure, that all the kids have their materials. I like to have a visual slide that reminds the kids, did you grab your jacket? Do you have your water bottle, your backpack? All the things that kids tend to leave, and then we get a parent message later on that's like, have you seen Sally Stanley? And you're like, what? Because, we're teachers and we're busy. But it's really helpful to have those visual reminders for them to make sure they're checking for all the things, make sure that they have their homework and their Chromebooks and all the things that they need. I like to have that visual schedule up for them. And then, like I said, have the students have their jobs. And that really helps with the transition out to the bus and the end of the day. So the bonus tip is just don't set routines. You also need to practice these routines. The things that I'm going over, we're going to review and review and review. Every time that you think you need to review it again. Anytime after major break, we review it again. And it's okay. Don't get frustrated. They're kids and they're learning. And sometimes we even need reminders on routines. And, kids can forget the routines for something as simple as knowing it's a long weekend. So we want to make sure that we keep practicing, we keep reinforcing the positive behavior and the good things that we see. We praise our class. We let them know how proud we are of them. This really helps. If you need editable schedules or you need any visuals or supports or anything to help you with the things I discussed, your schedules, your slides, your routines, feel free to check out the link below. I've created a lot of stuff that I do list in my Teachers Pay Teachers store that you can look at and see if any of that meets your need. Once again, thank you so much for watching my video. If you found this helpful, please give it a big thumbs up, share it out to any teacher that could benefit from it. Share some of your favorite routines and strategies below in the comments. I think it's great to build a community where we're all talking and sharing ideas, because I'm not a total authority on this. I'm sure someone out there has even a better idea that they can share with our community. I really appreciate the community that I have here and you guys watching these videos. So thank you so much, and I will catch you in the next video.